What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. This is Austin, aka More Than an Agent, and this is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast here with my Dominicano hermano, Jonathan Soto. Soto, what's up?
All is well, brother. All is well, brother. I'm glad to do another episode. I'm glad to give knowledge to the people, the podcast for the Black and Brown community. Let's do it.
I'm here for it. Here for it. Right before we go into today's episode, who's I like to call all my second guests or not or guests that have multiple times on the podcast, the repeat offenders. And my guy's doing some big things, so we'll get into today's episode shortly. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Please just take 3 seconds. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the podcast. Please leave a rating and review. It doesn't take long, but this is how we're able to grow our platform, continuing to share everything that we know, everything that our guest knows, so that way we can continue to impact whoever is looking to learn about real estate. And not only that, when our platform is able to get bigger, the guests that are on our platform are able to benefit, and we're able to push everything forward. Be sure to leave a rating review. Like I mentioned, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. And don't forget, we got our wine and real estate event that's coming up on July the 6th. Be sure to click that link in our bios for our tickets. We're going to be talking about everything: landlording, investing, Airbnb, Section 8, the mortgage and the high interest rates, contractors, so on and so forth. It's going to be an awesome panel where you can get all your questions answered, all while tasting wine. Without a further ado, today's guest, serial real estate professional. Last time that we had him on the show, he was going really heavy into wholesaling here in New Jersey, but since then he's expanded his business ventures over into Cleveland, Detroit, and Lord knows wherever else he is at in the country, while simultaneously still being in Jersey. A man of many hats, but at the same time, he wears every single hat well. I'm personally using them just off the contractor end, which we'll talk about as well. But he's doing a lot of big things and a lot of big deals in these markets. So we definitely want to tap into that expertise. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, Anthony Lawson. And thank you for taking time to come back on the show, man.
Absolutely, man. That was a good old introduction right there, man. I appreciate you and Jonathan for sending out the invite to me. I appreciate that. Glad to be on.
He's been in the Midwest so long, his accent is starting to change from Jersey. That's what we like, man. That's what we like. Listen, man, on the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast, we're bringing everybody so that way you can also get keys and gems just wherever your target market is, because I'm pretty sure that we're hitting your target market, and we want to dive into that. So let's start off in this. For obviously, on the last episode we was talking about wholesaling and how you built your wholesaling business and the tools and strategies that you use to grow that business, but kind of give us exactly kind of what you've been up to since the last episode.
All right, so you had cut out just a little bit. You had mentioned wholesale.
No problem. So we the very first episode was very wholesale driven, how you built your business, the tips, your strategies, the tools that you use to grow your wholesaling business. But obviously you've been doing a lot more bigger things since then. So just kind of bring us and bring the listeners up to speed just of what you've been doing recently.
Okay, absolutely. So far, I've been diving even deeper into Cleveland, Ohio market and Detroit, Michigan. And the reason for that is because I tell people I'm looking at price to rent ratio. New Jersey, I still love, but you got to really get a very good deal. Cleveland, Ohio, you could make a lot of good deals, and hopefully that people can relate to that, because then what I mean by that is, you don't necessarily have to use one thing for what it is. You can kind of rechange the use, which you can do anywhere. But New Jersey, everything is so costly, it may be a little bit tougher to do that. But Cleveland, Ohio, for commercial real estate, of course, it's been helping me out a whole lot, man. Because of the rents that's coming in from, the group homes, the different kind of facilities that we're focusing on, assisted living, sober facilities. It's been pushing the value up tremendously. So it's been helping us out a whole lot. But those two markets, man, I tell anybody, dive in if you could. Even if you wanted to get started with, 2 to 4 unit and dive in and get into an apartment building or anything like that, There's definitely ways to do it, and it's achievable. If you're an out-of-state investor putting a good team together, the good thing about these particular markets, Detroit, we don't have the license yet, but on the GC side, we are doing a lot of projects for out-of-state investors because I don't know what it is about general contractors throughout the country, but a lot of them are not holding up to their word. So we actually formed a company because we wanted to not only hold up our word, but let people know that, it's reputable GCs that's out there that's willing to do the work, not only for your project, that, want to retain a good relationship and have a good name for themselves. So that's what, me and my partner, shout out to my partner, Kyle. He's been holding it down as well too, because I know I travel a lot. And he's been doing a very good job from the GC standpoint, and we buy properties together as well. So I do hold many hats. And then you mentioned Austin wholesaling. If you wanted to go into the next question was wholesaling, like how I find the deals.
Well, no, we'll come back to that because we just wanted we wanted to get that particular update. But we will tap into how like the wholesaling background helps you find those deals, right? Because that's just that particular nature. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yep.
No, for sure. So you mentioned a lot of different types of commercial. So you mentioned sober living, you mentioned assisted living, and some other criteria. Are all those fall under like rooming houses, or what exactly? How's the breakdown? Is it better returns? Why do you target that specific part of commercial?
Yeah, and why? Like why that instead of like a 40 unit residential building, right? Like why that particular? Mm-hmm.
So for me, I look at the economy. I look at what it's doing, and I really know this very well because I started off doing rooming houses. I still like rooming houses. The reason for that is because the way the economy is right now. Think about it. We're on the highest thing of inflation. All of the prices are driving up like crazy, from groceries, gas, plane tickets, you name it. Everything is going up. So with these facilities, a lot of them of mine per se are government funded. So the government prints money. So if the government saying, you know what, we're not going to pay you, the whole world, not even just what facilities, the whole world will go into shambles if the government not going to pay you. So it's bigger than Section 8 because Section 8 is good, but people usually have to pay their portion. You do have some facilities that set up like that, but usually in facilities, when if you're a good owner, you're doing everything that you have to do, people stay there for a long time. So the one that we acquired last year, the guy been there for 20 years. So the last owner converted, it used to be a 6-unit, it's a 16-bed facility, and the original people still there. We only added like 3 new people since the previous owner had it. And facilities, man, you have so many advantages because think about it, right? When you have an eviction with tenants, what do people going through right now with the pandemic? They gotta wait with the courts. You gotta wait until they send you a letter, or if you're doing the attorney gotta wait. With a facility, you have what's called a discharge notice. So I discharge people if they acting too irate, or if they're not complying or anything like that. That's how you can get rid of people if need be. That's ultimately not my job to just keep getting rid of people. I work with them because a lot of them do have developmental disability. I like helping people, so that's why I got into the room space. But I took it a step further from rooms because now I'm like, okay, if I add 2 people to a bed, not only do I get to help more people in the community, but you make some good cash flow, and it's typically a lot higher than you could with just traditional rooms, or when people have an apartments. I can tell you now, some of my facilities, on average, like per bed, I'm getting minimum 1,100, and then the one we just acquired with the 35 beds, the most I'm getting is 4,000 a bed, and that's way more than what somebody would get on a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment. So it's upside to that. And usually what people will say, okay, if you have these facilities, don't you have to have staff? Don't you have to have this and that? That's not necessarily the case. I just want to kind of put that out there because even sober living facilities, you could Google this stuff. Many times throughout the country, you do not need a license for sober living facility. You just have to know how to set it up, and it runs itself. Sober living, I don't need no staff. people are self-sufficient. I can still bill their Medicaid because I'm providing counseling services. So now I get to charge the Medicaid on top of the rent. So now for me, that's icing on the cake. So, you know, I'm just like, you know, getting cash flow from every way possible by providing them, you know, substantial services, if that makes sense.
And the government's obviously taking care of this, right? Like they're the ones that are like cutting the check.
Yes, on some of them, yes. It depends on how you have it set up or how you want to have it set up. So some of my facilities, yes, it is government. In some facilities, I prefer private pay. Now, why do I say that? Because the government not going to give you top dollar. I'll tell you that. For group homes, they give you good money. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely good saying you get $1,100 per bed, but you know, the next facility I'm getting private pay, you know, at $3,000, $3,500. Which one would you take? You know what I mean? So right. It's you know, and then the first thing somebody would say is, okay, well, how do you know that they're going to continue to pay the $35,000 or $3,000 or whatever they're paying? Think about it. They have family that chip in to pay every month if they can't do it because it's their mother, it's their father, it's their grandmother, it's their aunt, and they don't want them to go into a nursing home. Now, I don't know what it is about nursing. I kind of got the gist of why nursing homes have bad stigma, but a lot of people want to have their children or family members or grandparents, whatever the case may be, inside of a group home if they have a sort of a disability, because it's more like a personal touch in a way versus a nursing home, where nursing homes, typically speaking, have a bad rep for themselves. And I'm not saying that's the case with every nursing home, but a lot of nursing homes will usually you hear that just like a rooming house. Rooming house, typically people hear rooming house that has a bad stigma, that's not the case. It depends on how the owner runs it. So if the owner is, you know, and that's with anything, right? It could be a 40-unit apartment building. If the 40-unit apartment building owner is not fixing anything, of course he's going to be called a slumlord. Yep. So that's with anything. But with facilities, you have so many upside. And my favorite would be I have less competition. I tell you now, and I laugh all the time because my mentor always say, when you figure out a niche in the marketplace, you can literally walk your way to wealth because I have no competition. You know, I'm putting in offers where maybe one other person put an offer, but my offer is usually stronger than theirs because 9 times out of 10 we can either close cash or we have a lot of experience to where I know how to structure a deal when it's more of a win-win for us and the seller.
So talk about the turnaround times, the turnover, I mean, for the sober living. So do people stay there for a long time? Is that the one that gets turned around the most, besides comparing to like assisted living and other type of rooming houses? And where do you find these people? Mm-hmm. Where do you find the tenants?
So,
hold on there. I think.
Okay, so to answer your question, Jonathan, that's 2 very good questions. First question was the turnover, and the second question was how do you find them? So with sober living facilities, it's actually easy because you can go to, and I'm gonna give everybody a gem. You can go to AA meetings. So AA meetings is you ever look into the movies where they sit in a huge circle and they say, "Oh, how long have you been sober for?" "Oh, I've been clean for 5 years." You know, things like that. Get them your business card, let them know what you do, and follow up with an email and just say, "Hey, you know, I have open beds available," and then they will send you people because they have to have a lot of people that's looking for housing and they need to place them. You could do that. You have hospitals, which is a very good one. Building rapport with caseworkers in the hospitals, nonprofits, and then you have actual organizations. That's all they cater to is people that was addicted to drugs or alcoholism. So you could do all of those methods, and you'll definitely find people. The people is the easiest thing. The facilities is usually the hardest one, so you got to make sure the deal makes sense. And then your first question was, well, how long would they actually take, you know, inside the facility? So and that's a good question because it's typically how long you want them to be there. And the reason why I say that because some facilities are set up to where they provide counseling services, they have AA meetings on site, they have case management come by. You don't have to have all of that. You know, it could be just a facility that's all you're providing is the bed. That's it. And, you know, from there, if you're doing the first one, then yeah, you'll probably have a 2 to 3 year turnaround. They typically don't leave every year. Or if they relapse, you will have to discharge them. So it's typically like that. And the second one will be, which is my favorite, I don't provide any of those services because I'm teaching people to be more on the self-sufficient side. And only service I do provide is counseling. And what I do from that is build their insurance through caseworkers, Medicaid and all that stuff. I get and that's the icing on the cake because now I'm providing those services, so I get to build Medicaid. So on top of the rent being, let's call it $500 per bed, the resident or tenant don't have to take care of the rest because it's coming from their insurance. I'm just billing their insurance. So the insurance pays us directly. And from there, you know, people can stay as long as they want. I've seen people stay for years. I've seen people get clean and they want their own apartment. They may stay for 2-3 years. Some people stay for 1 year, you know, but it just typically depends on how you set up your facility.
It's, you know, I put like this, right? Because I wasn't even like, I didn't even hear really whoever like brought their homes like that. Like there was like probably like one in like East Orange, like one random boarding room in East Orange. But like even when I think of a boarding house, to be honest with you, I think of Hey Arnold, right? Like I think of the cartoon Hey Arnold, right? That was the only thing that like introduced us into a boarding house, right? And getting an idea of that. Because like the second, I can't even say the second, but like the only like the cousin, quote unquote, of the boarding house is if like you had, I can't even call it the cousin. Well, yeah, the cousin, because not definitely like not like a brother or sister, but the cousin is like if you had an Airbnb, right? And then you just had everything like in the common areas, and then you rented by the room, like similar to like what John is already doing, right? On the Airbnb aspect, right? And you know, when you originally told us about it and like just the returns in general, you know, it was definitely like something to pay attention to. But like you said though, this ironically like is your niche, and although like I don't like, although like personally I could easily be like, yo, I'm gonna go into assisted living, right? I'm gonna go into like boarding house and so on and so forth. Like you really like carved out a niche to it where I have to respect that, you know, if it is something I get into, just respecting like the simple fact that like, you know, it's what you don't know, right? Like, so I know that mobile home parks are like, you know, another big thing, right? But like there's no, you know, I'm not about to jump into mobile home parks, even though like the returns are, you know, are great, right? And in this particular case, what I do like, which is a perfect segue to the next question, what I do like is that no matter what, it starts with the deal, right? And searching for that deal. And then at that point, it's just about, okay, I can do so many. And I don't know if your particular strategy going forward is from now on, all I'm going to do is these types of assisted living and programs and something like that. But if it's not, it's an excellent, like, especially in a city like Cleveland, but it's an excellent tool in the toolbox where no matter what seller you come across, you're able to serve them off of, okay, it's a 4-family. I'm just going to rent it out as a, you know, a regular 4-family. I can do this, I can do that, but it all starts with that deal. Tell us how, which obviously taps into the wholesaling background. Tell us how you're finding these deals. Are you more of a marketer, or are you more of a relationship building, you know, kind of lead generator for these deals?
So that's a good question, man. Let me tell you how easy it is to find these deals.
Oh man! All right, here we go. Because now you got competition. You ain't have competition before here.
Well, you know, and I can with information because my mindset is I look at everybody as collaborating. Even if we can call the same deals, okay, no problem. No, but you got to know how to run them. So, you know, it's a different segment, but yeah, just let everybody know it's very easy to find these deals. And then some of them are like needles in a haystack, right? Like assisted living, you know, you got to kind of like play around with keywords on the internet and things like that. But here's how you find it. If you're targeting group homes, you literally type online group homes near me. Then guess what I do? It's gonna be all these lists that pop up. I pick up the phone and call them. Hey, do you want to sell? That's it. That's that. And what I do is, if it get harder, because every state, I don't know why is it like this, but every state, they not just simply call group homes. Like some of them call them adult daycare facilities. Some of them are called adult foster care facilities. Some of them are called adult TLC facilities. Some some of them are called, I seen personal care facilities or personal care homes. So it's called different things. You got to toy around with the keywords, but that's simply what I do. I pick up the phone, call them, and see if they want to sell. That's it.
And what I found, at least from the deals that I've been doing, at least on my Grand Slam deals, was literally, you know, picking up the phone and like the follow up. And that's so key. Are you still doing, you know, regular wholesale deals? Are you still, you know, fixing flips? Are you still doing, you know, anything on that level where in those particular cases, it's not as easy as, you know, just Googling 4 family owners in the area and then next 10 links of John Smith, Jane Smith, Bo Smith, right? And then you're picking up the phone. How are you finding those particular deals and opportunities?
So yes, I'm still doing wholesaling, yes. Not on a larger scale than I used to be, because I'm doing like a hybrid model. What I mean by that is I have so many people that wants to get in this space that have funds, and I'm putting my funds together with other people. And what I'm doing is I'm finding the deal, and I can tell people they can do the same thing I'm doing. Nothing wrong with that. Find the deal, I put it under contract. I know the numbers make sense because I'm looking to buy it. But what I do is I assign it over to somebody else. So now I make money up front, and then I stay in the deal. So I do that with a lot of deals.
Got you. So you'll just JV
like a finder's fee type of thing. You're in the deal, you're collaborating, LLC. That's like kind of when you get into syndication, you get paid for basically doing the deal.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. So it's just like that.
So which I actually like the hybrid model. Because in this particular case, like you're getting paid to. It's interesting because you know you're getting paid to literally be part of the deal, like you're literally getting paid to own the deal, right? And whatever form or fashion, if it's a hold, if it's a flipper, or so on and so forth. And I actually really like that model, only because I mean it's the source of like how you're able to scale, like, right? Like, and how you would be able to scale, you know, in the grand scheme of things, right? You know, like I was telling Jonathan, like, I wouldn't partner on the smaller deals. Most individuals probably wouldn't partner on the smaller deals, right? Like the one duplex and like, you know, that I have in Cleveland now, like, I'm not going to partner on something like that, right? But for something, you know, 20 units, 30 units, or whatever the case like that, you know, I would be looking to partner on something like that. But I do actually like really like that model. And I remember we were talking about before, you know, just off of the wholesaling, and you're on the market, like you're a marketer, right? Like you like there's hunters and then there's farmers, right? As far as like the lead generators, right? I'm more of a farmer with hunter like capabilities once whatever has been provided like comes back, right? So like I won't call everybody, but I'll send out a text blast, and then every single person that even remotely sounded interested, that's when I go into hunt mode, right? And it's just about to follow up on that. And so like even the marketing that I've been doing in Cleveland, like really brief, like really small, not even nothing crazy. Like I didn't even like spend like nowhere near like, you know, but ironically, you know, someone was looking to sell. It wasn't anything crazy or anything that like I would be looking to turn down, because I didn't want to like just start buying like a duplex after a duplex. Like I just wanted to get my foot wet. But I wound up referring it out to the agent that helped me buy my property. And they're under contract, right? So like a quick second phone call, although it's not a wholesale deal, like I'm gonna get paid on the back end, right? For 2 minutes of work, like if that. And in those particular case, are you more of a farmer marketer, or are you more of a hunter, and that's more of like the prospecting and the cold calling and so on and so forth? Or are you if it is a hybrid, but are you more of the relationships where you're trying to build relationships with the agents, the individuals in the community, and then they think of you when it's time to sell?
Right. So I would say I'm probably all of them, honestly, because what I'm doing, and what I mean by that is now in the beginning, when I first started, I was more the hunter, right? I feel like it's levels to it too, because when you first starting off, you have to get it. You trying to close them fees, you know, they keep it real. Like, you know, I didn't come from money. So my pockets was little, you know, you had to grow your pockets. So, you know, in the beginning, I had to do it, especially, you know, I was always on the mindset, I would save to invest. So, you know, even when I first started, I would, you know, wholesale deals, put the taxes aside, the rest that was all me, I'm putting into a deal. So majority of it. But now I don't necessarily on the hunter mindset per se, calling myself. Sometimes I may call, like if I have a light day, which is probably kind of rare that I have a light day, but if I have like a light day, sometimes I call, you know, and see what's going on. But now I have my guy that still call. And 9 times out of 10 for facilities, I don't even need a cold caller. Why do I say that? Because I build so much rapport with brokers, and people know what I do by posting on social media. They bring me deals. So, and then even if they can't structure it, I'll pay them a fee for it. So it's different ways to skin a cat. But, you know, now I'm at the mindset that I do all of them. And then even on a quick tip on the wholesale side, I'm doing more of commercial wholesaling per se. I still do some consultant fee work on like 2 to 4 space, but I'm doing more of assignments on commercial. The reason why is that I even have less competition with that. I dropped the ebook on it if people want it. You know, flip buildings like pancakes, you know, a little catchy name. But I teach people that, you know, because it's a different mindset, you know, building rapport with brokers, building rapport with people, you know, on a higher scale. And it don't even have to be a 100 unit. It could be a 10 unit, a 20 unit, you know, a signing that makes 50, 75. You know, usually assignment fees are a little bit higher on commercial than it is residential because you have so much upside.
I didn't even know that you had an ebook out. So
I
didn't even know that. I gotta check that out. Where can we find that at?
Yeah, so if you look me up on social media, and hopefully everybody follow me, I follow them back. But on Instagram, it's Anthony_the_investor, and Facebook is just Anthony Lawson. I have a link tree where everything that I do, people see the construction and everything, and it's a website. And it's called www.flipbuildingslikepancakes.com. Ebook is $50. You know, I even the same contract that an attorney drew up for me for $2,000 when I first started. That's universal. I even put that in the bonus for free when somebody get the ebook. So they get my assignment that I use, signing the contract, and my purchase agreement.
Go ahead, Jonathan. I just didn't even realize like I wasn't following you.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah,
I just realized that. I don't even know why, but go ahead.
No. So great information so far. I love. We met both. We were both like newer in the game, so I love the growth. I love to see you doing things. I know from the beginning you always said you wanted to help. Do assisted living. You want to do like the for the veterans homes and all that stuff. And I'm glad that that's coming to fruition right now. I'm very, very proud of you right now. Actually, I definitely, man. I want to touch base on why. I know you mentioned purchase price to rent ratio, but is there anything else in the Cleveland market and the Detroit market that you see? That's part 1 of the question, and then part 2 of the question, which I can't remember. I'm gonna remember after you answer part 1.
Yeah, no.
Even a question before that. Why the hell you ain't telling me that you had 91 units? That's for sure. That's what I needed to know.
Yeah, because you know, before we get to Jonathan's question, I mean, you know, real estate is a gift, right? Like I sold a lot of things in New Jersey, and I'm actually shifting from northern New Jersey to a quick thing I would tell everybody is to look at Atlantic City. City.
We just was talking about that. On the previous. We just was talking about that. Talking about that. So we'll meet you down there.
Yeah, they have a lot of incentives down there. Me and my partner Kyle actually own the 20-unit rooming house down there. And we looking to ramp things up. So we always looking for. Me and him is actually analyzing a hotel right now in the bar, and hopefully it happens. I don't know, but yeah, you know, Atlantic City is hot. They have government funding. They have everything that's happening. Hopefully they clean up a lot of the streets because it remind me of Newark, you know, 10 years ago. But, you know, things are
perfect.
Yeah,
I think that's perfect. And what we started to see was that a lot of the economics were starting to switch away from just the hotel industry down there.
Yep.
right? And like that's what, you know, because I've been asking for the longest, right? Like, and that's what kind of led me to Cleveland of like, where can I, you know, where can I like set foot in that's a little bit cheaper in New Jersey, right? And I would always look at South Jersey, and for the most part, and it's got to be like, for my criteria, it's got to be a major city, right? Let's make it easier. And it's like, all right, the only 3 cities that are down here that can even have, you know, like any type of like next boom or anything like that: Trenton, Camden, Atlantic City, right? Those 3. I don't know if any other cities, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think you can consider any, but those are the ones. And I'm looking, and we've been, and mind you, we're looking at it from, you know, obviously, you know, the past like 4 years as we're building our portfolios here, you know, now that we're like, why hasn't Trenton popped off? Well, Camden started to pop off, so we see what's happening there. But like for long, we were like, why wasn't Trenton popping off? Why wasn't Atlantic City popping off? It just seems like these are, you know, and there was just no, as not to say there was no economics behind it, but the proper economics for fueled growth just wasn't there, right? It was stagnant because that's how everything else was. It was, you know, the hotel industry was stagnant, right? So I'm glad that you put the head on it, because it's yes, like if any other city where I've genuinely felt, even before like this news, because my wife and I, we go down there, you know, every now and again. We don't really gamble, but you know, we like the boardwalk, we like the water, you know, we got a slew of restaurants and shops and shopping and all that other stuff. And I was like, I would love to, and you know, you'll find some 4 units, some 8 units, some 12 units, 20 units, obviously. And I was like, I would love to own here, because we come here so much that, like, so on and so forth. And that's what led us to buying Cleveland, because like when we went the first time, we actually like enjoyed, like, just off of the, you know, date night tip, we actually enjoyed Cleveland, right? And then the houses just happened to look like Newark. So yeah, man, I'm glad that you said that, but let's get your take on oh man, sorry, because I definitely like bombarded Jonathan's question originally. So sorry. So we'll come back to that. You know what? Answer Jonathan's question. We're gonna table this.
No. It leads to the next question.
All right, perfect. Keep on going, because I do want to see what your thoughts are about Cleveland and Detroit. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so just outside of Atlantic City, yeah, Cleveland. I just like how you guys felt. I felt that in Cleveland. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm meant to be there, like do something great there. And then it took me about 6 to 7 months before I bought something in Cleveland. The reason why I do that, because I built a team, a nice size team first. I gotta have either 2 or 3 of everything, was that's title companies, contractors, subcontractors, because I got the, you know, me and my partner got our GC license out here so we can run the crew. And even, you know, from realtors, brokers, so it took me a good time before I bought something, but when I did, I was hitting the ground and I was up and running. So, you know, and that was that. And what drew me to Detroit, number one, I got family there, so I got boots on the ground. I can have them go take a look at something. And then number 2, it's still very cheap in Detroit right now. I can't tell people enough. Go buy in Detroit, do it, because Detroit. Even if I'm gonna give you guys an example on the multifamily side, somebody sent me a 38 unit for $525. 38 unit, $525.
Send it to me. I'm buying it.
But here's the thing, though. Do need work. Need about 200. But I did the math. I said, you know what? It's still, it'd be worth around 1-ish. Some million, some change, 1 million, some change, which is not bad. That's not bad. That's not a bad deal. The problem why I didn't get it, number one, do quick flips on big rehab. What I have going on right now, I already have a lot of things that I'm closing on, and that I have rehab to do on those. But Detroit it's a very good market. Your rent to price ratio to me is better in Cleveland, but Detroit is picking up more too. It's starting from the downtown area and it's doing on the outskirts, just like everything else, like a Newark. Downtown, picking all the way up on the outside perimeter, and yeah, you know, it's no better way. The only issue I can tell people with Detroit, that I mean, it's an issue in Cleveland too, but Cleveland I also happen to find more subcontractors than Detroit. The contractors out there, man, are, oh my gosh, you got to keep screening people, you know. So I'm still trying to get my one of my properties I have out there, which is a 12 unit, get that rehab. I'm still going through some things with that one, and you know, my uncle-in-law is a GC. But I get how it is, you know, on a business standpoint, you're so busy, he can't even touch my project yet because he got other jobs in front of him. So I get it, I respect it, you know, and I always tell people as a GC, be honest with people. If you got jobs, and in Austin, no, me and him talk. So if you have jobs, be honest with people. Like, hey, man, I can't get to it right now because of X, Y, and Z. I don't like to string people along. You know, I do the best that I can with communication, and I always try to let people know what I have going on, and you know, if I could do a job, if I can't do it. So, and that's that. But as far as the market itself, yes, you can find them at a good price to rent ratio. You can pick them up, you know, at a good, you know, everything really from just rent. Even property management services, I seen they're a little bit flexible. One thing I seen about management in Cleveland, the prices are a little bit higher. I'm seeing that management is usually around 10 to 15%, which in our mind, we'd be like, oh man, that's crazy. But I had to remember their price point is a lot cheaper. And I still got to tell myself that, because, you know, 10 to 15% do sound like this is very steep. But when you talk about somebody just bought a 4-unit for $75,000, it's like, you know, it makes sense. You know, they got to make a low money too. So I you know, I understand that. But yeah, it's two good markets to where, and if you're doing like a creative facilities, or, you know, similar to what I'm doing, something like that, you don't have no competition in none of these markets because nobody is doing it. You know, they it's a lot of owners that I'm seeing throughout the country, because I am a consultant for people to get their license throughout the country. And I'm seeing this throughout the whole country. Owners are selling like crazy right now. Not only that, you got less competition, and then they don't think about scaling. So with these owners, the most I've seen an owner have is maybe, you know, I'm talking about a regular owner, not a savvy person, maybe 3 facilities, maybe. Now, most I've seen maybe 2 to 3, and they just want out, man. They just want out. They want to retire. They don't want nothing to do with it no more. So in this interim of Detroit, it's another gem I'm gonna give people on their state license. You do not need a license for assisted living in the state of Detroit. I mean, in the state of Michigan. So what does that tell me right there? Okay, I can go into a building, make sure the room is a good size. Now I can add probably 2 to 3 beds in there. In case in point, I have a 44 unit. We're going under contract. LOI was accepted. My attorney is actually drawing up the contract. A seller finance. 44 beds, from 44 to 60 beds. And it's going to bring in anywhere from, if I remember off the top of my head, because the number's not in front of me, it's going to bring in anywhere from, I want to say, close to like 70,000 a month, something like that, when it's all said and done. So, because we're going to be able to get on the very low end, 1,500 all the way up to around 4, somewhere around there. No license required. Now, if you do that math, you know, expenses, yeah, you know, expenses be like half of that. But still, I mean, that's a home run. Seller finance, put a little something down. The note is only for $300,000. We're gonna get him $500 up front. Hold the note for what we got him at 5 years, and we're gonna refi him out in like 3 years, because the building do need around 1.1 in renovation, but it's worth $5 million. So we essentially picking up for putting 1.1 in it, and it's worth $5 million on top of the cash flow.
And you're taking on these deals with your partner?
Yeah, so I have people that I partner with throughout the country, and I screen them through my whole process. And I have people that's not necessarily in real estate that have money. So I build those relationships too. And then what people do is I start targeting people with 1031 exchange. Yep. So I flip it to them.
I got one ready for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So with 1031, you got to get very creative, because IRS rules state 1031, you can't do a joint venture. Going on LLC up front. Not saying that you can't get creative on the back end. Maybe, you know, you guys, you do a buy and share on the LLC or something like that, and you have an attorney draw up the paperwork, have an attorney look at that. So I want to put that, I know the call is recorded, so I'm just letting people know, you know, have an attorney look at this stuff. But going into it initially, you cannot do a joint venture with somebody with 1031. Can you assign it to somebody with 1031? Of course you could do an assignment. So you can make your fee up front, have a fee agreement or something like that on the front end, and then have something out on the back end so where you can stay in the deal. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna want you to stay in the deal anyway, because they don't want to run it stuff. They just gonna want you to do it and they want cash flow. So, but have an attorney look at that stuff. And yeah, man, that's why I love Cleveland and Detroit. You know, it's very little competition for what I do. The hottest markets right now is Texas, Florida, Texas, Florida, Washington State, California, for
Arizona,
facility.
Phoenix.
Arizona is one of the highest for facility. Everything is a facility over there. So and that's pretty much that. Oh, and Utah.
Utah, interesting.
Yep. It's a lot of, but they do a lot of smaller ones though. Like they turn a lot of homes into the residential assisted living facility, because it is a big difference from a RAL, which is residential assisted living, versus just a assisted living facility, because that can be classified as the bigger one. Commercial buildings, 20, 30 beds. But a residential assisted living is usually 12 beds, something like that, in a nice little bungalow or a nice little house, something like that, and then they turning them and converting them into a facility.
Nice. Before we start on the set, I definitely want to touch base on the Atlantic City market. Let's switch back over to AC. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, what are you seeing down there? I know that we got some exciting development moves that's coming down there, just like with the huge water park that's coming down there, with the shop right that's coming in, which it was so weird because like our other podcast guest, he pointed that out and was like, we didn't even like as much time, like as many times as I've been down there, I've never realized that there was just never a grocery store down there.
No grocery store. Nope.
Never even realized that there's not even like strange. But then like we always, by the time that we're down there, we're just gonna go to like the little mini mart or whatever the case. But you just never realize that like it like something as simple as a grocery store. Like you would think that like every town starts with like, the municipal building, the sewer structure, and like and a grocery store, right? Like in a school, right? Like you would think that every single city kind of like starts with that, but like it was mind blowing that like AC just never had. And it's interesting. I know why, because they're not going to bring in a Whole Foods or anything like that, right? The median income doesn't support a Whole Foods, right? So,
right.
But it's interesting to see that it's a shop, right? And I wonder, like, if this serve, or I'm pretty sure the intention is for it to serve way beyond like just Atlantic City. But I'm interested to see, what neighboring cities are able to benefit off of it. Like does a Ventnor City, which is a little bit, if I'm correct, a little bit more prestigious, right, than Atlantic City, is Ventnor City going to come down to Atlantic City for the Stop and Shop? I mean, for the shop, right? That's like for my New Jerseyans, or that's like somebody from Montclair, New Jersey, right, coming down to East Orange's shop, right? Like, will they attract that attention? Because if that's the case, then we getting more and more eyes on Atlantic City. But what have you read? What have you seen? What are you feeling? What are you seeing down there? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Everything you just touched on, man, from the water park that's being developed, $100 million right there just for that. Big time guy that's doing that. I was actually reading that article the other day. And Atlantic City, man, it's gonna take time, just like anything else, but it's happening. Like, long as it's happening, that's the most important thing. Because it's a difference from politicians saying, "Listen, we plan to do this and that, but it's gonna just take time." Okay, they talking about it, but it's happening. Like it's LOIs, grocery stores, like they moving things along. They already knocked down the Trump Tower to build all this stuff. So it's happening. And it's the most prestigious time to actually get in, because you can still buy at a good price point. And that's the most important key right there. And I wish I'd have put in there about 4 years ago, because I had a friend of mine that was killing it. And he probably still is. I haven't talked to him in a while. But Atlantic City, he was always telling me, just like Cleveland, you should go in Cleveland, but I wasn't at that time, my mom said. So now I'm like, you know what, let's do it, because I could have scooped up a couple condos. I remember when they was going for 5,000, 10,000, and then you could pick up some with as little as 2,000, and you pay the HOA fees. Now they sell them for 75, 80, and off of the water, which is still low for a condo off of the water. So I'm telling you, man, it's happening in Atlantic City. I believe that they're going to get an increase in revenue from the ShopRite because, like you said, Ventnor is a prestigious city, you know, more of a suburb, and they're going to have people come in. They're going to have people that's in the area from Philly stop in and do their grocery shopping that want to stay in Atlantic City. Even people from like a Margate City that's not too far away, that's by the beach and everything. They're going to have people in from Atlantic City. So it's going to drive a lot of revenue to the city, which is good. And then in return, those tax dollars would be built into knocking down old structures and rebuilding and developing on top of the developers that's already coming in there. So it's you know, it's good. I'm glad it is happening. You know, shout out to Mayor Smalls, man. He doing his thing.
Yeah, because obviously, like the last time, like you know, like as soon as like where Atlantic City was kind of or poised for what's happening now, maybe about 2 years ago, and then obviously like the mayor gets in trouble for, you know, like I think it was, you know, whatever it was, like embezzling like some like basketball money or like something like that, but like they you know, there was a lot of corruption, right, like in Atlantic City. And I'll say this, I'll go on record. I've already said about Cleveland. I already said it about Newark. Cleveland, my thoughts are this is the last time, and then depending on whatever happens, like if there's a slowdown, if there's a slight pullback or whatever the case, but this is the last time that it's going to be like in this particular like price point. Like it's you know, it's there's no way, and I'm looking at the numbers, I was like, there's no way city of close to 400,000 people, and the only kind of like two things that like are drawbacks in Cleveland. One was like the like population trend and like more people like kind of moving out, quote unquote, which like when you're talking like 0.06% growth, like I mean like negative growth, like I don't care about that, right? And then the second thing is that it's cold as hell there. It's cold as shit. It's cold as hell there. Like it gets cold as hell.
It's cold.
But like there's no way any particular city, 400,000 individuals, where 75% of the population rents, where there's no way that city can stay that cheap for long. And my only regret, and I can't even call it a regret, but my only like, maybe I would have done things different, which I'm glad that I did, but you know, if you know, so on and so forth, is that I probably would have started bigger. I would have probably started bigger, but at the same time, like I just wanted to get my feet wet. And obviously we're going through everything that we're going through now. But like in this particular case, like I just wanted to drop the flag, and then like now it's time to expand, especially in like the commercial space, because, and like I tell Jonathan all the time, like it's just how they handle valuations for commercial spaces over you know, your residential. And it's a lot easier in your case, like, you know, when you're talking I forget what the numbers were verbatim, but it's a lot easier for something to go from 1 mil, right? 1 mil to 1.5, right? It's very easy, right? And that's that's another $500,000 in equity that's being created just by raising the rents,
or
right? Which is naturally happening.
Raising the rent business.
Yeah, man. And that's why, like, you know, at least for Cleveland, like places like Cleveland, Atlantic City, you know, Detroit eventually, you know, is a lot easier to get into deals that are much bigger than you know, the $1 million like 5-unit like 4-family in Newark, right? So okay. I love that.
Before we go into our core 4, we definitely want to touch base on what's next for you. I know you have a lot going on.
Yes.
What's next for you? You have anything going on? Talk to us.
Absolutely. So I'm in the works of starting up my fund, a real estate fund. It's a little bit different than the syndication. I know it took me 3 years to get to this point, and I'm still learning and growing. I don't know everything. I don't think anybody in real estate really knows everything, you know. So but that is my next evolution, and hopefully it happens sometime soon. I'm aiming for next month, because my mentor in the commercial space is actually going to be able to help me get my fund up and running off the ground. And he has, you know, he's a very big guy, and he's busy too, and he runs multiple funds. So that is my next evolution for this particular space, because now not only do I do the facilities, you know, I have people that want nursing homes. I have people that want sober houses, assisted living. So I have like a huge, even you know, from just off the courses and things, people that wants to get in the space. You know, I have people that not relying on me per se, but I have people that's just really interested in buying into the space. So it's telling me that, you know, I need to create something huge off of this. And my next evolution for that would be fun, which I am in the mix of doing that right now. Hopefully this year, early next year, but I'm aiming for next month, honestly, you know, because he got some openings, but I need to really get on him about the calendar, his calendar. So that's that. And then the next evolution after the fun would be what is probably, you know, somebody will ask, well, what is the, you know, the end goal to all of this stuff? I'm aiming to get to 1,000 beds, which I think I can get there in the next 2 years. Honestly, I think I could. I'm pushing. So
we about to add 44. It looks like.
Yeah. Absolutely. And from there, I probably won't sell them all. That's to 1,000. I probably wait till I get to 5 or 10,000 or something like that. But I will sell off the whole package eventually to somebody on Wall Street and probably walk away with, you know, 400, 500 million, or if I could, and whatever like that. And maybe just look at another revolution of life. You know, not to say I walk away from the facilities, because it will always be a part of me, because I love helping people. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because it's bigger than the cash flow. And I think that's why the people in my facility respect me, because it's not just, you know, cash flow. If you go into an amount set up, all right, I'm gonna just throw 10 beds in here and this and that, and you know, you're not, you know, treating it right, and you're not respecting the people, then, you know, they're eventually going to move out. Just like with anything else, right? Like a normal 10-unit apartment building, you're not fixing anything. If people call you slumlords, they're going to move. So, you know, you gotta respect people. So it don't matter what they're going through, because anybody can go through in life. That's why I'm always humble, and I'm grateful for everything that God put in front of me, because, you know, anything could be going just like that. You know, and who's to say, you know, people in facilities wasn't regular at one point, and then they just fell on hard times. So, that's that. But yeah, that's my next evolution in life, man. Get the fun. After the fun, I'm gonna sell everything to Wall Street and try to walk away with big bucks. So that's
and at that point, I mean, you're gonna be like retired at what, 32? What are you like, young as hell?
Yeah, so I'm you know, full disclosure, I'm turning 29 this year. So I started
28. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm turning 29 this year in October. I started real estate when I met Jonathan. I just turned 23, and I was in real estate already, and I started wholesaling, you know, things like that. And yeah, man. So, you know, by the grace of God, I haven't worked. I don't know when, like the last, pretty much when I started, pretty much, because my expenses was always low. And from there, I still keep my expenses low. And then as I build up more cash flow facilities, I just save to reinvest, and I just keep doing it. And now it just builds up a bigger nest egg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very last question, and Jonathan will kick us off on the core four. But all right, here's a very interesting topic. Not interesting topic, but here's a really, really like real topic that, like, you know, I you know, make sure that a lot of people like respect and everything like that, because I saw the ring on your finger, right? And like all of us have our you know, our very, very supportive wife, and obviously like you're on the road, right? So like, you know, just tell to us and tell to the listeners, because you'll either find couples that like are on a line like that, right? Like where like my wife and I, like we bought the properties together, like, you know, Jonathan and his wife, like they managed like their Airbnbs, like, you know, we have very, very supportive spouses, especially for us men, because we like to like be like, you know, visionary and like, yo, here's where we're going. And like, you know, it takes a lot of support, but it's ironic because like not a lot of couples are like that, right? Where like one individual might want to and the other one necessarily doesn't. Without going too much into detail, obviously, you know, just explain how like you're able to get it done and obviously keep the family on one accord, as you know, our family supports us in these grand visions.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's a good question, man, because I think with anything, 9 times out of 10, for what I've seen just in general, usually the guy is more interested in real estate than the woman. Just I see it. So, you know, and actually it wasn't always like, you know, I'm real estate, but as the wife seen more and more of how real estate can be impactful, it was like, you know what, that makes sense, let's do it. And then when I say she's all in, she's all in. I'm like, all right, babe, let's go to a podcast. Like, turn it up, you know? Play it in the car. So
right,
yeah, you know, it is. And I personally feel like as the guy, it's detrimental to have a good spouse like that, because now it's a good support system for you when you do go out there and you feel confident in what you do. It plays a big difference. Even if on the flip side, if somebody's spouse are not in the line with them and they just don't want to do that, that's okay too. I'm not going to force anything on somebody that they're not necessarily wanting to do. But I am glad that she came around, because now she's like, whoa, I seen,
right.
You do all these deals. I see and hear stories when I listen to podcasts, and she knows it's achievable. So she's doing her thing in the space now as well. And we actually doing a wholesale deal together. And to this day, we should be closing out.
There we go.
Weeks. Yeah. So yeah, man, and that's all it's about, man. Just building wealth together. Because ultimately, what do we do this stuff for? I'm not just trying to walk away with all this money myself. I want to change the family legacy, not with just me and her, but my immediate family, and just let them know it's possible.
Respect.
I love it. Yeah, yes, I absolutely love it, because to your point, like it's man, I think we tap into a superpower when things are good at home, right? And when everybody's on one accord, when everybody's aligned, because it makes our job a little bit easier, because we are normally the more the risk takers, right? Where respectfully, and we're just talking about statistically, where women may not be as as pro risk, right? And it's a healthy balance, right? It's a healthy balance, so that way, while we are out here, taking these risks, throwing these numbers out, and so on and so forth, it's definitely key. And I want to call it balance, but it's just more so the just the
harmony.
You don't know what you don't know, and just having that opportunity just to flourish. And guys are usually not a lot more visionary, but there's been plenty of times where I'm like, yo, we about to do this and this and this and this, and the wifey's like, yeah, have you thought about that? And I'm like, I have not thought about that, but we're going here. This is where we're going.
Same thing, man. So sometimes I gotta slow down.
You're like, here we go, and she's like, wait, we just finished this first, and then I know, but babe, this, and so so yeah, and obviously you're doing real big things, and I totally agree that you have to allow your woman to see it, right? You have to allow your lady to be part of it, where she can benefit off of it, because all we want to hear is a wife's like, go ahead, you know what to do, go do your thing, and you're like, yes, I'm out, you know what I'm saying, I'm about to go, I'll be right back, right? Come back with another property, right? But yes, you're absolutely right. I love that.
Love it. All right, let's go on to our core four. These are the 4 questions we ask all guests. I know we asked you this last podcast. It can be hopefully different answers, but we can figure it out. Number 1, what is your favorite aspect about real estate?
My favorite aspect in real estate, I feel like my favorite aspect in real estate is you can't lose. That's if you ask me, because I hear stories. I'm the type of person, I'm gonna keep it real short, because I know time crunching. I'm the type of person, right? Way before us getting into real estate, I like to look at the data, because that's how I am with wholesale. And from there, I looked at what people did wrong in 2007, 2008, the big crashes. Personally, me, I feel like you can't lose if you just hold on to the real estate. There's no losing. Then it's a win-win, because if you're working out with the seller, guess what? At the closing table, they make money, and you bought the property. So I feel like it's a win-win. I feel like you can't lose in real estate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Question number 2: favorite business or personal development book, and not flip houses like pancakes.
I was gonna do it. Yeah. So I'm gonna give everybody a book that really, when I first met my mentor, his name is Sharif Medawar, and you can look him up. He's a well-respected guy. I've been doing this stuff over 30 years. And I would tell everybody to get his book. It's on Amazon. I think it's $10 or something like that. And his name is Sharif Medawar, and it's called Blue Ocean Opportunity in Commercial Real Estate. And from there, it's gonna blow your mind, because he even show you how to do creative different strategies of commercial, from no money down deals, and which I've done a ton of those with commercial real estate, not bringing $1 to closing, just off of how to structure a deal. So that's a book I would say everybody should go look at.
Thank God for Amazon, which I've just bought more stock in beautifully, because Point click and deliver.
Yep.
Here we go.
Find that. Next book. Next question is fun things you do on your spare time.
Yeah, so what I like to do in my spare time is, number one, I'm a food person. Me and the wife, I think I said that last time. I'm a food person.
But it's real though.
Yeah, and not only that, I love working out. I've been out the military now for what, 3 years, and I still love working out. I work out Monday through Friday. I take my weekends off. I still run a couple miles every other day. Well, Wednesday and Friday I run a couple miles, and that's typically what I love to do. And my last thing would be on Sundays. I like to reflect on my goals, read books, and I like to go to like a beachy area. I'm like a water person versus land. I love looking at the water.
I agree.
Yep. I feel cool, like a common feeling.
I'm the opposite.
Oh,
you like land more than water?
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about like
nature, are you a nature boy?
Yeah, like getting away, like vacation, like more like nature and more touristy. Like, yeah, I'm the opposite. If I go on vacation, I don't really care for the beach.
I need the beach, bro. I'm
the
beach. I need the beach. And if I ever move to LA, bro, that's why I love going to LA with wifey's family. So we'd be 15 minutes from the beach, multiple beaches. Oh, it's so easy. I am 110%. I'm a beach person. Okay. I am sorry. I'm just ordering this book. I wonder if he has is it only in the Kindle version? I wonder if he has it in the
hard copy. I believe is only Kindle from when I'm understanding.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yep, and
I don't even have a Kindle. Oh, well, it's like the Kindle app.
Yeah, also it's like $10, right? Something like that.
$2.99.
$3.
Oh, look, he even dropped the price. Look, $2.99.
$2.99, and this is with the
from information that'll change your life.
Nice.
All
right, I'm in.
I'm gonna get it. Yeah, you have Kindle, Jonathan?
I've used it before, but it's an app on your phone.
I've never used it, but I'm about to. It's a PDF. I've never used it. I thought it was like what were those things called? Oh, like the Nook, like you have to have like a tablet.
No. Yeah. That's one version, but you could just read it on your phone. Scroll
Beautiful. Up. I'm about to. So here we go. That's downloading. Question number 4, last but not least, Anthony, where can people find you at?
Yes, so people can find me on Instagram at Anthony_the investor. I'll repeat it again. Instagram at Anthony_the investor. Facebook, our first and last name, Anthony Lawson. That one should be pretty easy. But yeah, that's where they can find that. And one thing I can say, if it's okay, Austin and Jonathan, we are hosting an event this month for commercial real estate. I have people that's doing assisted living. I actually have somebody that is very unique to the industry. Actually, he's doing. He actually acquires the properties for you while you get your license. I never heard of nothing like that.
Oh, while you get your assisted living license. So this, so he covers the license while you're in the middle of purchasing the assisted living building.
Yeah. So what he do is like the property, whether it's a single family or a commercial building, he will go out and do all that stuff and get creative with the potential operator to actually get the license. Whether that's them doing a lease option or anything like that. I told him that's unique. I don't know anybody in the industry that's done that.
So you cannot buy a building unless you have that license?
Yeah, so the way it works is typically if you want the contract, you can do both. Like you can be in the contract, different structures. Like you could do a sell lease back if you don't want to, if the seller is like pressuring you to hurry up and get the license, even though it's the state that comes out and checks up on that stuff. But yeah, you can be under contract. You can apply for the license while you're under contract, then close the same time that you get approved. You could do that because I did it like that. I did it where I closed first. I had a contingent on certain like money escrow from the seller, until we get the license. So now I know they will stay on board with us until we get our license. So it's different ways that you can tweak it. Different ways.
Nice. All right. What day is the event?
I was gonna ask where can people find it?
Where can people buy tickets?
Okay. So the date is June 25th to 22 at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Food and drinks are included, lunch and dinners included, snacks, beverages, coffee, all this stuff. And you can look for it at www.𝐶RELivemastermind.com. I'll say that again one more time, www.𝐶RELivemastermind.com. To buy a ticket, please hurry up and get it because there's a few seats left, and the tickets are $98 right now.
I'm in. I got $98. I'm going.
Yep.
And I just looked at my calendar, and of course, like I have something that day.
No worries, man.
It's I'm like heavily considering it, to be honest with you. The 25th. The only thing is if I cancel it, I'm trying to find out where I can move it. That's the but I definitely will come and show love without a doubt. Obviously, you got a couple of people that I know there, and JT as well. I know he's doing a lot of big things. Yes, he's gonna be there. Salim, I think we did a deal or two. He's with a New World title.
Oh, New World, yeah, I know Salim.
Oh, and Sharif's gonna be there. The dude that wrote the book, is gonna be there as well.
Yeah. So what Sharif is, Sharif will be speaking for sure. He already confirmed that, but he don't know if he will be flying in or on Zoom, which is fine either way. Because I told him, long as the message get across, I'm cool with that. So he will be speaking though. So whether that's Zoom or in person, he will be there, and that's the person on the book. Yes.
I didn't even realize Salim was the owner of New World. I didn't even put two and two together.
Salim? Nah, he's a partner now? Because I know the owner is in Florida for New World. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think he's a
partner now, huh?
Oh, I think he's a co-owner.
When you do so many deals and bring so many volume, they're partners.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. We all loving this. It's just good to see that. I'm definitely gonna keep you posted on that because I definitely 110% would attend. And obviously we just got a lot of other stuff that working on and going to be continuing. But this is all like pushing the conversation forward, right? And I love the niche. I love the niche. I would love to say I'm just going to consider it and just dive into it full time. But that's why we have our niches, and that's why and even everybody that you have on the panel here ironically has their own specific niche, right? Which is a great thing. But again, it all starts with the deal, and then like your exit strategy just all winds up being different. But it all starts with that deal. Anthony, man, as always, I'm probably gonna send you a text right after we get off of this podcast. Because Anthony, for the record, and I can honestly say this for the record, on the record, wholeheartedly and genuinely, here's what I'm about to say. Anthony has to be the best GC and contractor, just off of the strength that he solves the number one issue that most contractors just don't have in general contractors, that they just don't have in their bone, like that bone in their body. And like he mentioned, it's the customer service aspect of it where that is missed so much in the contractor space. And I think because you have an extensive just background, just speaking with individuals and interacting with individuals, that most contractors aren't doing their own deals, right? Most contractors aren't wholesalers, right? They're just contractors. And then maybe when, they're working on a project, or maybe they got invited to partner with somebody on the deal, but the hard part of finding the deal and negotiating and talking with the seller, that's already been done. They get to just go into the deal and do what they're supposed to do. But like, you don't find like that customer service aspect. I can't stress it enough. That Anthony does definitely provide. So whether you're doing something in New Jersey, whether you're doing something in Cleveland, and it looks like obviously he's expanding into Detroit. I really wholeheartedly mean that, simply because I'm going through it, right, and I'm doing it as we speak.
For my deal in Jersey, man. So I second that, man. Respect, Anthony.
I appreciate both of you guys.
110%.
You know,
so you're gonna get this text. You're gonna get this text right after this recording. Like how we looking? When can we start? When can we finish? But again, it's just the responses, and even if there's no answer, and even if you just follow up, obviously I know Anthony's riding around doing what we do, and but you'll always get a response. You'll always get a text back or call back. Whether it's the best news, whether it's amazing news, whether it's no news. And that part, I think, really, really distinguishes you away from, or separates you apart and distinguishes you as a really, really, really people-oriented contractor, general contractor, which you just don't find.
I definitely appreciate both of you guys, man, and just the opportunity allowing us to come in and help you guys out. That means the best of me. That means that you put your trust in me and in my partner. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
110%, man. Let's I don't know when you're back in Jersey. I know you say you're going to be back in a little bit. Obviously, we know you're going to be back for the event. If I can't swing through the event, we'll put it like this. Here's what I will say. I definitely most likely attend. I can't be there like probably in the morning to early afternoon, but yes, that we still might be able to, without a doubt, make that happen. It's not an all-day thing that I'm attending. So yes. We love to pull up on you. I think I'm actually gonna say it right off the rip that I'm definitely gonna be there. I gotta go get my ticket, but it's always love, sharing ideas, talking, keeping the conversation going, and it's in good energy, good vibes. I know Jonathan's got to go pick up the little one, so we thank you for your time as always. Thank you for sharing the gems, and just more importantly, just expanding our minds, and just throwing those numbers out there, which for some people might be uncomfortable, but this is the way that we change the narrative, and we got to start talking about bigger deals, bigger numbers, because then eventually, like as Anthony would probably tell you, the big numbers are just the same as the small numbers, and there's nothing in between, and there's nothing different in between. Absolutely.
And one quick thing also too, when it comes to numbers, it's actually much easier to do a bigger deal than a smaller.
I've heard multiple times, which why, like, every time I talk to you, I like cringe at my Cleveland property. Like I cringe at it. Because because Cleveland's so expensive, or it has the potential to be so expensive on like how big of the deals, and what I've just kind of realized is that the bigger deals is just the same as the smaller deal. So yes, you're 100% right on that. And yeah, man, thank you for stopping by as always, coming on, being a repeat offender. We all got work to do. We all got business that we're still doing. So that's why it's amazing. And last thing that I will say for the audience is that, I want to make it clear that like a good portion of the people that me and Jonathan are bringing on like to the podcast, like we're not like bringing them like out of nowhere, right? These are individuals that we're actually dealing with, right? And actually building with. So anybody that wants to tap in, like this is the direct connection. And we're just speaking in firsthand because we're in, on the ground actually doing these things. So yeah, man, as always, appreciate you taking the time. I'll hit you on the side. Anthony's working on helping finish my project over in Cleveland, and we're going to be looking to do bigger deals from there. And all love. Thank you for coming on the show. Jonathan, you good?
Good.
He's like, I'm good, bro. I gotta go pick up my daughter. I ain't even knocking it. He's like, I could text you on the side. We could talk about this, 2 days straight. So all love. Again, Anthony, last time, thank you for coming on to the show. This is the Real Estate Blueprint Podcast. Signing off.
Peace.